Okay, the wife is insisting that I do a before and after of my brick veneer installation in my bathroom. So, right now we have this wall. I've already removed several of the pictures I had up, so there's still some nails in the wall, but I've already removed several of those, and we're going to put brick veneer on this wall only. And I've got to remove the television and put it back up. And she just swears it's going to look absolutely fantastic and really wants me to do it. So I'm doing it. We're doing it in a couple of places, so I may show the others too. Anyhow, it's pretty straightforward. That's a sheetrock wall, and it has some studs behind it. It's a concrete wall behind it, but I mean all the way behind it. But we did some studs behind it. So long story short, just going to do a before and after. This wall and all will stay like it is, and that will stay, or everything's going to stay the same except that wall right there. So, and right here's what we're putting up. This is a piece I brought in just to get a look. It's going to be this way, of course, but I brought it in just to lay it up there and see what it looks like. Make sure I wanted to do it, and it did look okay, but she's adamant. So there you go. That's what we're fixing to do. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. Or maybe in the middle of it, but we'll see. Okay, we have made some progress. Pulled the television down. I've got the curtain down on the thing. I've painted at the gap because I don't want to see this color between my seams. And let me see if I can slide this back and I'll show you. I took a magic marker and colored that in, if you can see right there. I colored that in with a magic marker, and I tried to spray it. I was getting a lot of overspray, so I took just a Sharpie and just a regular black marks a lot, magic marker, whatever you want to call it. And I went along the edge of this and down that corner. So now I got to cut a hole in the next one that goes up. Probably going to do that tomorrow. Oh, I pulled the molding up, so the molding's up. And I've got it outside where all I got to do is put it right back. And we're going to lift this up, and I'll show you. I'm going to use sheetrock screws, which we don't think it's going to show. And if it does, we're going to pull them out. But I've got, I don't know if you can see there, that's what I've got off my poured walls, between the sheetrock and the poured walls. So I'm using these right here, which are just regular sheetrock, black sheetrock screws. And I'm going to obviously stick those right here. I'm going to put 3 across here on those 3 studs on this particular piece. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up in the middle also. I think I will. I'm not gluing it because if I ever want to remove this, I want to be able to paint that sheetrock wall again and go back with what when I get tired of this. And then I'll put, of course, 3 down there at least. When I nail the shoe mold or the molding back up, it should take care of that. But anyhow, I'm making this way too long. You get the idea. So, anyhow, that's where we're at. That took a couple of hours. Of course, I had to move television and a couple other stuff, but so far, so good. I did have to cut that. I cut it, and I cut this side. That's the factory edge there. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to lift that up, and then we're going to lift it up 1/4 of an inch or so, whatever it is, and I'm going to stick it with these screws. So anyhow, we'll be back when I get a little further. All right, there it is, the first piece installed. And it looks pretty good, I ain't gonna lie. You can see the gap is there. There's a slight gap. Now, I haven't got any anchors here yet, but I'm not sure I'm going to, honestly. But you can see there's a gap, maybe right at 1/4, maybe a little less than 1/4, but you can't tell it because we painted it black in the corner. And if you notice, or if you don't notice, there's screws. I ran those sheetrock screws in there, and you really got to look hard to see them. There's one, there's the other one, and there's the third one, and that's the only 3 I've got in there now. I may put 3 here. We don't know yet. And when I put that molding back on, which I've got this under here because I had cut it a 1/4 inch short, so I could do that. I could jam it against that ceiling tile track. And we stuck that under there, and that put it, the width of this, put it perfect against here. So tomorrow, we'll cut the final piece because I only need one more piece. It's going to end me in that closet, and I'll put that curtain back up, and that's all we're doing. And obviously I got to hang the television and the pictures or whatever back. But looks pretty good for that's $26 you see right here. That sheet is $26. So I'm gonna have $52 in that wall, and I think it's gonna look worth $52. But anyhow, see y'all again tomorrow. What'd you think about what we got done tonight, honey?
I just want it finished.
Did you like it?
Finish it.
Did you approve of everything that's been going on so far?
If you just get it done.
Was any of it your idea?
All of it was
Yeah. Yes. All right. Well, come on in here. We'll finish it. We can finish it now if you get up and do something.
If you quit talking.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Right quick, I just want to show one more step. We actually went ahead and cut this last night. I may have never got this lucky before, but something else you want to do is make sure your bricks match up. There's a pattern. This has to go on a certain side to this for these half bricks to line up. So before you cut your piece, make sure you're cutting the right end to match. That's where I got lucky at. I cut the wrong end. We put it up last night, and I realized my bricks didn't match. In other words, a whole brick was coming here and a half brick was coming here. So all I had to do is flip it around 360 degrees or 180, whatever you want to say. But the problem was, you know, you've cut that edge now. Now you don't have a factory edge that's going to match up here, and you would have to be in one of these joints. Well, I cut it from the back side, the unprinted side. I just measured out 83 3/4 and marked it and cut it and wasn't even worried about the edge because I'm going to have molding over it. Well, I think I've got lucky. That is the cut edge. And I mean, I've taken a file and tried to take away a little bit of where I ran over right here. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I got lucky. I can't ask for much more. But what I was going to show you also was I take a magic marker, I'm going to dark, or I've already done part of it. You can see I'm going to darken that edge because some of the paint chips off of it in transit or whatever. I'm going to do it to that side too so that you don't see this seam as bad. I mean, you're going to be able to see this seam. You're not going to ever do away with it. I'm going to glue right here, and I'm going to magic marker these sides right here. So I wish I had bought the big Sharpie, but I didn't, or the big, what I'm calling a magic marker, but something with a square tip with a little bigger than that, but I didn't. Anyhow, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going down through here like this and coloring that up with this right here, and I think it'll be fine. But anyhow, there you go. All right, there's how it looks after I stood it up. I didn't do anything else, and those are pretty close to alignment, but now I do have this right here under it, and just to shim it up a little bit. And I've got that for two reasons. One, before I screw it down to the wall with the screws, I can have them lift that and align this even better, see? But I mean, that's pretty dang close. In fact, it's close enough for me, but because I can, I'm going to have them lift that before I put the screws in. Plus, I'm going to use spray web adhesive right here because I don't want it all over my wall. I don't want to use liquid nail because it'll tear the sheetrock if I ever take it down, as I said before. So the only places I'll have it glued is on this one seam right here, all the way down to where this will match up and fit tight. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna have them lift it, and I also got to drill the hole for the television wires right here. So I'm gonna get that done. But you can see it went together. Like I said, it went together real well, and that's not a bad idea right there, by the way. It just worked last night, so we did it again. I used it to pull us up tight right here. I had a small gap at my ceiling tile frame, and I put that under there, which got it close, but nowhere near as close as when I had them lift that piece of wood right here, that little spare piece that I've cut off, and that jammed it up against my ceiling tile. But anyhow, there you go. All right, I kind of changed my mind about the spray adhesive because I want to make sure this stays and it's not going to affect. I'll be able to pull that loose without destroying my wall. So I'm going to take a putty knife and smear that out. I might put a little more, but all I'm going to do is lift this back, and I'm going to put that adhesive or that stuff in that tube, which is not liquid nails, but something similar. I'm going to put that, I'm going to smear that out right there to let that keep these two seams tight to the wall, in other words. So anyhow, hey, since I had it both, I'm doing that and the adhesive, just because. I mean, I got it both down through here, and I'm going to spray this side. I'm going to attach this side with the screws, get it back tight, and then spray this side a little bit before I put it up. And that's all just to make sure that seam stays secured to the wall. You want it to, because if you don't, you're going to be able to see in there. But you got to spread it out because you don't want it to ooze between the crack where you can see it, because especially that white stuff. So after I went all the trouble painting it black, kind of wasted that time. But anyhow, I'm going to fix it if it does. Alrighty, there it is, pretty much the finished product. It turned out extremely well for two $26 sheets of brick veneer, I'm calling it, which is pretty much brick paneling. It looks fantastic to me, and it's a good change for me. I like it's a different look for a while. I looked at that wall for about 18 years. Now I can see it different. And I didn't use the recommended adhesive to stick it to my wall because I don't want to destroy it. If I ever want to remove it, if I get tired of it, I got those screws that you bury. I mean, I can't even hardly get them to show on the camera. I've got 6 screws across the top, and I put 3 down through here. You can't even see them because of that curtain, but you couldn't see them if the curtain wasn't there. And that's all that's holding them besides that small amount of adhesive that's at that joint. Now, I will say, I would have used liquid nails here if I had it do over again. If you can see, right now, it's been up a couple of hours, and it's just not sticking. And here's why. Well, let me show you. There's what I used, and it's in the garbage can for a reason. That's where it's going to stay. It's useless. I couldn't find anything. It doesn't make sense. It's not tacky. You know, it's not tacky when you put it on. It's almost like a toothpaste. Maybe it would work in some applications, but not this one. Now, I would use liquid nails here if I had to do over again. This side didn't seem to matter, but because I've got a screw a lot closer to the joint. The joint on this one's a little further away. Well, I could talk forever, but if I had to do over again, I'd run that liquid nails down through here, but be real careful not to let it ooze out of this joint, because liquid nails is beige, as you know, most of it, and if it comes out of that joint, it's really hard to clean. I've tried to clean liquid nails before. It's not very cleanable. It is a bad product, product, and you can't just wipe it off. I'll guarantee you, especially after it dries. So anyhow, back to what I was saying. Now that's the only thing it needs right there. I haven't finished that. I've got to put my molding back up, and all I got to do is retack it back up. And I'll be honest with you, I would not put it up. I think it looks fine without it, other than my linoleum didn't make it to the edge. In other words, it's got to have it. So I'm going to put the molding back up, but it would look okay without it. But as you see, it looks good across the top. Got lucky with that cut, as I told a while ago. I think it looks fantastic for $52, and I will step out of here and be done with that. And that is my description on how to change your wall somewhere for $52. That's 2 4x8 sheets that I cut 2 feet off of, so that's a good bit of area covered. But anyhow, y'all have a good day. Come back to see me, www.jelly007.com, and put up some brick. Y'all have a good day.